Now, something completely different now. My next guest was badly scarred a few years ago and has been left with extensive scarring. She was diagnosed with PTSD and at times struggled to cope with how her body had changed. But now she's 19 and she is embracing her scars, and she has created a poster campaign to celebrate them. Let's talk to Crystal Turner-Brightman, who's a theatre student at Chichester University, and she joins me now. Crystal, lovely to have you on the programme with us. Just take us back to that time where you got these scars. What happened?
So it was about 4 years ago now, and I was doing a photography project with my friend, and we were using tea light candles, and the dress I was wearing sadly caught on fire, and it left me with scarring on my stomach and my left upper arm just in front of my shoulder.
That's an incredible adjustment to make, isn't it? To go from what you were to having these scars, which I imagine a lot of them quite visible.
Yeah, it was really hard, I think, because it's the little things like if I wore a vest top, the stairs I wasn't quite used to. People would look because obviously it's not something they're used to seeing. It was a bit out of place. So it's kind of adjusting to people looking. For a long time, I wasn't confident wearing bikinis, so I always wore full costumes if I went to the beach, stuff like that.
Obviously, a difficult time, and you've gone from, I suppose, hiding the scars, wearing full costume, to embracing them. Are you now sort of quite happy to have your scars on display?
I think with scars, it's like a kind of love-hate relationship. It really does depend on the day. Some days I'll wake up, I'll put an outfit on and I'll love them and I feel really confident. Other days I may wake up and put an outfit on and not feel so confident and choose to cover up. But I think it's all about holding on to those days where you do feel confident and really connecting with that and remembering that feeling and trying to keep reliving it.
You know, you're only 19 now, is that right? So you were really young when this happened.
Yeah, I was about 15. I was just going into year 11 to start my GCSEs.
That's the age as well, isn't it? When there's so much focus on appearance, a lot of people discussing what people wear, what people look like, and very, very difficult for you to undergo this change at that point in your life.
Yeah, I think going back to school was a big adjustment because a lot of people were quite curious, but they weren't. It's the age where you're not quite sure how sensitive to be, and so some people were quite insensitive with questions and stuff. But it's all about just getting used to it and adjusting to it, and kind of trying to realize that these people aren't necessarily trying to be rude; they just don't quite understand.
Tell us about this campaign then. You want to inspire burn survivors. You want to help other people who've been through what you've been through. Tell me what you're doing.
So for my campaign, I wanted to do glitter scars. So I made my scars golden. During my recovery, something really important to me was like little mottos to keep me positive. And my therapist told me one which was fill the cracks with gold. And I thought it might be a nice idea for my cracks, which are my scars, to be physically filled with gold and made golden. And when we did the campaign, when I looked in the mirror, I felt really beautiful. It made me feel really good. And I want other people to see these images, maybe try doing glitter scars themselves and feel confident as well.
How do you feel about them then? That made you feel beautiful, but if you could just wake up without them, is that what you would really want to do, or are they very much a part of you now?
I think they are a part of me now. I wouldn't want to get rid of them. I know initially when I first got them, I was like, oh, I'll get a tattoo and cover them up. But now the idea of covering them up makes me feel quite upset. Your body's a canvas, and like this is my canvas, and my scars have shown what I've been through. They've shown I've survived. I'm proud of all I've done to get better and to recover. So in a way, I'm proud of my scars too.
Yeah, and actually, you look at those, and it must take you back to that time in your life, and so much to be proud of, actually, the way that you have dealt with this, that you have moved on, and that you're now a theatre student.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't change anything now because I think my accident it's defined who I am. It's changed the path I want to go on. Before my accident, I was very much focused on being like an actress, but after my accident I really got into writing and eventually theatre making, and that's why I'm doing the degree I'm doing now. So I wouldn't change anything. I think it's important to take any kind of dark moment you have and turn it into a positive. Always try and look on the bright side of life and define yourself the way you want to be defined and make something good out of something bad that has happened.
And it's true, isn't it? Hearing your story, I suppose every scar tells a story, however big or small it is. There is a story behind that, and what you're, I suppose, encouraging people to do is embrace that.
Yeah, I think scars they're not always positive, but it's important to remember that, every scar is a story. And if you think about it, even like if it's a paper cut, it's the story of your survival. Like, you got that paper cut, but you're still here, you're still going. And it's important to try and think positively, I think, when it comes to stuff like scars, especially with the media today. It's quite focused on like a specific ideal body image, but it's important to just embrace you for who you are and love everything about you if you can.
Well, stay there, Crystal, because let's bring in Brendan Ely, who's the chief executive of an organisation called the Scar Free Foundation. Brendan, just astonishing hearing Crystal there and how incredibly positive she is and how she's dealt with this.
Good morning, Sarah. Yes, it's a pleasure to be joining you. And I must say, Crystal's story is as humbling as it is inspirational. I think it's fantastic the way she's approaching her injury and her scars, and the campaign is so positive. I take my hat off to her, I really do.
She raises a point, though. We do tend to judge people by appearance. It's very difficult for some people to live with extensive scarring. Tell us about your foundation.
So the Scar-Free Foundation, our mission is to achieve scar-free healing within a generation. So there are in the UK something in the region of 20 million people or more who live with some kind of scarring as a result of injuries or congenital conditions like cleft lip and palate, for example, or military trauma as well. We work a lot with those who survived Afghanistan and Iraq conflicts. But scar-free healing is important, I think, to understand that we are not just about eradicating the physical and functional challenges of scarring, but for people like Crystal living with scars today, we want to encourage them to lead a scar-free life, in the sense that those scars that they are living with are not causing the restrictions and problems. And from Crystal's amazingly positive approach to it, it sounds as though she's some way towards leading a scar-free life, even if she is still carrying the reminder of that horrible incident.
And actually, what Crystal is doing it must be such a help for other people who find herself in the situation that she found herself in those years ago.
Yes, I think one of the challenges we face is that not a lot of people appreciate the how common and costly and problematic scars can be. We many of us, have scars and don't think twice about them, but there are a large number of people who live with scars that cause enormous functional problems, enormous physical and also psychological, emotional, and aesthetic problems. I think Crystal coming forward and this campaign that she's running, it marries very much with the Scar-Free Foundation's ambition, which is raising awareness of the problem and encouraging people to feel confident about their scars. Our science that we fund, and we're funding lots of research into burns outcomes, that won't really have an impact. Medical research takes time. But in the meantime, to have the confidence and the awareness that Crystal is showing is a key message. And there is help out there. And the UK is fantastically well paced for both the acute treatment and long-term care of scars. But it takes a certain kind of person like Crystal, really, to get that message that we are 100% behind.
Well, really good to talk to you. Thank you, Brendan. So well done, Crystal, for what you are doing. What would your advice be then, anyone listening who maybe finds themselves in that situation that you were in a few years ago, and they're looking at a different image to the one that they were looking at pre-scarring?
I think it's important to remember your body is your canvas. You can paint your canvas however you like, to keep positive, to take a deep breath, to find everything they love about themselves and always hold on to that. Even if it's one little thing that you really love about yourself, hold on to it and never let it go.
Well, really good to have you on the programme. Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe you've got a scar that you look at and you've got a story behind that. You can continue with the conversation. I'll tell you what's going on at the moment. We have got loads of your stories of being a carer, and also lots of debate going on tea making and how to do it. So if you'd like to add to any of those conversations or go down a different conversational route and talk about a scar that maybe you look at and you feel proud about how you have dealt with life after that. 81333. Start your message with the word radio. I'll just remind you of our phone-in number if you'd like to talk to us.
Call 0800 232 1045.
BBC Radio Sussex.